The campaign of Mayor Pete Buttigieg is being called out for doctoring its own debate videos with canned applause. Now, this is captured by Twitter user Raphael Shamunov and spread by the pro Sanders group, the Center for Popular Democracy in Action. Video of Mayor Pete's most recent town hall is placed right next to an ad cut by the Buttigieg campaign for a side by side comparison to show you what it was really like versus what the team had actually added in there. So let's take a look at that comparison.
Statistically, we run the risk of being the first generation in American history to actually be worse off economically than our parents if nothing is done to change the trajectory of this economy. To me, that is not just a concern for our generation. It's a concern that calls on us to build an alliance among generations to try to make sure that the future really is better than the past. And you don't get that by promising to turn back the clock. You get that by finding ways to make change work for us before we're all disrupted out of a good livelihood by it.
Let me introduce you to Tyler Lentz, who recently graduated from business school. He works for a community bank in the Austin suburb.
All right, so the difference there, if you didn't catch it, is at the end of Team Pete's video, you had the normal applause that was there, and then it went to enthusiastic applause, which just didn't happen. That's not the reality of the situation. Now, I'm going to provide the links in the description of this video in case you're skeptical, which we should all be, of course. And CPD Action actually provides links to the originals. So you can look at the original CNN video, and then you can see Mayor Pete's, of course, his ad that was cut, showing the very, very enthusiastic applause. So with that established, you might be thinking, okay, why does this matter? Is this really that big of a deal? I mean, it's just some applause. He gets applause later on. So what? Well, the problem here is, well, there's a couple of issues with it, right? For one, it makes it appear that there's more enthusiasm and support for Pete than there actually is. It's kind of selling people a false image in a way that makes Pete seem a little bit more popular than he is, and therefore more electable. It's these little tricks that advertisement, right? That's part of advertisement. And that's what this is, right? Now, I understand that campaigns are there to make that happen. That's their whole goal, is to make sure that this candidate is more popular and gets more electable, right? But Mayor Pete seems to have a habit of stealing things that isn't his, right? And this is, again, I can show you the history, right? For one, Buttigieg has been caught faking black endorsements with the Frederick Douglass plan. Back in November of last year, his campaign falsely said that 3 prominent black figures in South Carolina supported his Douglass plan for Black America. In late October, Buttigieg's campaign released an article published in the HBCU Times praising this plan, citing an open letter on behalf of Columbia City Councilwoman Tamika Devine, Rehoboth Baptist pastor and state representative Ivory Thigpen, who, by the way, is a Bernie Sanders co-chair of the state, as well as a Bernie Sanders supporter, and Johnny Cordero, chair of the state party's Black Caucus, in addition to more than 400 Douglass plan endorsers that were supposed to be black. Now, according to a report in The Intercept, an investigation, they found that none of those 3 people had actually supported Buttigieg as a candidate, and and 2 of the 3 never even endorsed his Douglass plan at all. And to top it all off, half of those alleged 400 black supporters on that list that supported the plan, 42% of them were white. He also, over the last few days, and this has been big news, claimed an Iowa victory before the numbers even came in. That, of course, had the effect of disenfranchising the vote of POC-heavy satellite caucuses that actually did go for Bernie Sanders. Now, Pete also lied about the no fossil fuel money pledge, right? So it says, I'm not going to take any money from, people that are working in the fossil fuel industry. right? Now, Buttigieg had hosted a fundraiser in a wine cellar or wine cave with a man named Craig Hall. Now, Craig Hall runs a firm that funds fossil fuel infrastructure projects. So he's a bundler, right? And so he's going to get people in that industry. He's going to bundle that money for Pete Buttigieg and give to his campaign. So now it's not just that, it's PACs, it's bundlers. And so some of that money could be coming from executives in the fossil fuel industry, which would, of course, violate the no fossil fuel money pledge. But he does so in a way, by doing it this way, try to sneak around that pledge, which is why he gets the name Sneaky Pete. And then, of course, his campaign right before the fourth quarter, fundraising totals, launched a contest. Now, this is an interesting contest. I covered all this on the show. This contest was designed to see which supporter could give the candidate the smallest unique donation. So it's to get a whole bunch of people to give the minimum that they can, the smallest amount possible. Now, why does that matter? What effect does that have? It skews the results. It makes it seem that Pete Buttigieg has more grassroots support, more smaller donations than what he actually does, so that he can come out and later on and say, look at me. I have much lower donations. And so I'm grassroots funded. In reality, he's astroturfed. So these are slimy politician moves. And so these videos, just add on to that, right? The entire theme of him being slimy, dishonest, and doing so in the super gross, underhanded politician way, where they can say, oh, no, technically we weren't lying. I mean, they did clap, after all. I mean, if you want to, by the way, speaking of clap, right? I know it doesn't really matter, but still, there's this video.
So can I look to you to spread that sense of hope to those that you know? Come on.
Please clap.
Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.